Imagine you're standing on an open plain, somewhere in what is now Kazakhstan, about 5,000 years ago, and a herd of wild horses appears on the horizon. Standing that close, you'd notice something strange. The horse isn't afraid of you. You're afraid of it. For 50,000 years, humans and horses had one relationship. Humans hunted them. That was it. Chase it. Kill it. Eat it. Not because horses were easy prey. They weren't. But because they were food. Big food. And humans were hungry. And then, one human looked at an animal everyone else was hunting and had the most dangerous idea in history. What if I got on top of it? That question didn't just change how fast humans could move. It permanently changed what humans believed was possible, and that belief is still inside you. Right now. Before we get into what the horse did, you need to feel what life looked like without it. Imagine spending your entire life knowing the mountain on the horizon is somewhere you'll probably never reach. Not because you lack courage, not because you lack desire, because you walk at 4 miles per hour. That's it. That's your top speed. That's the speed of the entire human world. Your trading network? Only as large as someone could walk before they got tired. Your fastest message? Someone running. Your army? Walking. Everything. Walking. For most of human prehistory, the majority of people lived and died within about 50 miles of where they were born. The world was simply too large and too slow. And then a small group of people in the grasslands north of the Black Sea figured out how to fix that. Here's how it probably started. Not with a plan, not with a genius. Somebody was keeping horses for food. Horse milk, horse meat. That's all. Nothing poetic about it. They were hungry, horses were available, and eventually they figured out how to keep some around instead of chasing them every time. And somewhere in that process, after years of being around these animals, after learning their moods, their rhythms, the difference between a calm horse and a dangerous one person climbed on. We don't know if they fell off immediately. We don't know if anyone saw it. We don't know if it was terrifying or exhilarating or both at once. We just know someone got on a horse. And didn't die. And in that moment, the size of the world changed. But here's the question that plagued archaeologists for decades. When exactly did this happen? Horse bones don't tell you if an animal was ridden or eaten. You need something more specific. Something that could survive 5,000 years underground. And still carry the evidence. Teeth. When a horse is ridden with a bit, the piece placed in the mouth to steer the animal, it creates a specific wear pattern on the lower premolar teeth. A bevel. Asymmetric. Only from the pressure of a bit. Not from eating. Not from age. Only from being ridden. In 1995, researchers analyzing horse remains from Botai culture sites in Kazakhstan found exactly this bevel on teeth dating to approximately 3,500 BCE. The earliest widely accepted evidence of a human riding a horse. Not hunting it. Riding it. Nobody made a speech about it. Nobody carved it on a wall. Nobody even knew what had just started. Life just kept going. Children were born. Winters came and went. Then, the consequences started spreading. Here's what the horse actually gave humanity. Not speed. Not exactly. Imagine a merchant. Yesterday, his customers lived 1 valley away. Today, they live 200 miles away. He didn't get smarter. He didn't get richer. He just got a horse. A message that took 3 weeks on foot, arrived in 3 days on horseback. A raiding party limited to neighboring villages could now strike hundreds of miles away and be home before anyone organized a response. Think about the last time you got somewhere 20 minutes early. That small lift. That feeling of having more time. Now multiply that by the difference between walking pace and a galloping horse. For the first time in human history, time felt like it was on your side. The steppe peoples who mastered riding first didn't just gain an advantage. They gained an advantage so complete it reshaped who controlled what in the ancient world. Geneticists studying ancient DNA found that between 3000 and 2500 BCE, the DNA signature of those steppe populations spread across a massive portion of Europe and Asia, one of the largest genetic shifts in human prehistory. Communities that had existed for thousands of years, absorbed, or replaced, by people on horseback. Not because they had better weapons, just because they had horses. The Mongol Empire, 24 million square kilometers. The largest contiguous land empire in human history. Built on horseback. The language you're hearing right now, English, is an Indo-European language. The Indo-European family spread across Eurasia in exactly the same period as those horse-riding steppe populations. Spanish, Hindi, Russian, Persian. All of them. Same family, same steppe. The words in your mouth, right now, trace back, in part, to people on horseback 5,000 years ago. Every empire, every trade route, every language on Earth, all of it connected in some way to one person who climbed onto a horse and didn't fall off. But here's what nobody talks about. The horse didn't just change what humans could do, it changed what they felt. For most of human evolution, we were prey as often as predators. Slow, soft, no armor, no natural weapons. Something was always faster. Always. 200,000 years of sleeping lightly. 200,000 years of keeping fires burning through the night, not for warmth, but to keep things away. Building your entire social structure around one basic fact. You were not the most dangerous thing in the environment. And then you got on a horse. Imagine laughing, while you're moving faster than anything that hunted your grandparents. Imagine realizing, for the first time, nothing is catching you. That isn't just tactical. That isn't just useful. That is 200,000 years of fear, suddenly not applying. We don't have the first writer's words, but we have the reaction of every culture that ever felt it. When the Spanish brought horses back to the Americas in the 1500s, Native American tribes who had never seen the animal adopted it within decades. One generation. Cultures that had existed for thousands of years on foot reorganized everything. Not because someone told them to, because as soon as they felt it, their body understood something it had been waiting to feel for longer than memory existed. And here's the thing, the horse never fully forgot what it was either. Watch a domestic horse spook. A plastic bag, a shadow, a sound from the wrong direction. Half a second, and a 1,200-pound animal that trusts a human being enough to carry a child becomes something else entirely. That's not a training failure. That's 50 million years of evolution running underneath the domestication. You can shape the behavior. You can't remove what's underneath. And if that sounds familiar, it's because you have the same system. Underneath the apartment, the job, the coffee order, the extremely modern life. There is a nervous system built for a world nothing like this one. It still fires. At loud noises. At things moving fast at the edge of your vision. At 3 in the morning when something feels wrong and you don't know what. You can manage it. You can't remove it. There's one more thing. At Sintashta, culture sites in Russia around 2000 BCE, horse remains have been found buried inside human graves. Not as food. Buried. With people. We don't know what they believed happened after death. We don't know if they thought the horse and the human would need each other in whatever came next. We just know that when the moment came, someone decided the horse should go too. 3,000 years. From prey to someone you'd want beside you in whatever comes next. Here's what all of this actually tells us. The horse changed everything. We know that. Trade. Empires, languages, genetics. We covered all of that. But I keep coming back to something simpler. One person. In the grasslands of Kazakhstan. 50,000 years of their species hunting this animal. And one morning, they looked at it differently. Nobody noticed. Nobody wrote it down. No monument was built. Life just kept going. And yet, that moment changed the languages spoken today, the borders that exist, the DNA of two continents, the empires that rose and fell, every trade route, every migration, every word in every Indo-European language ever written or spoken, traces back, in some way, to one person who set down a spear and climbed onto a horse instead. The horse is mostly gone from daily life now. We replaced it with engines, cars named after the animal they made obsolete. 200 horsepower, more. With planes that cross in hours what took horse riders weeks, with rockets aimed at places no horse could ever reach. 5,000 years ago, one human looked at an animal everyone else was hunting and asked, "What if I got on top of it?" Today, someone is looking at Mars and asking, "What if we lived there?" Different horizon, same brain. Every time the horizon feels like an invitation rather than a boundary. Every time you feel the pull of somewhere else. Every time you feel the frustration of being here when you want to be there faster. You're running something ancient, something installed by a species that learned to outrun its own fear, and never stopped reaching after that. The first writer didn't know they were making history. They just wanted to get somewhere faster. And the world felt smaller than their ambition for the very first time.